If you hold that point and then have them do IAP within 3 breaths, that entire structure will change because the intrinsics are doing their job, so the phasics can do their job. Now in a yoga pose, what you would have felt is that when the intrinsics are doing their job, the phasics are able to strengthen, correct? Yes? And when in the therapeutic setting, when you want something to release, if you hold onto an area of tension and they do IAP, then because the intrinsics are doing their job, the phasics can relax. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, now, what you will find is that when people have sufficient IAPs, that they have joint compression. As you guys can see that I'm absolutely fascinated with this part of developmental physiology. So, whenever anyone works with me, by the time you're done, incorporate IAP in the best way that you can. And I assure you that over the years of teaching this stuff, this is typically what happens. People will message me in about 3 months' time. Sean will message me in 3 months' time and say, okay, Jambo, I have this class, this student, she's a 30-year-old woman, and her ankle, whatever, and her foot has fallen off. And I'll say, how is her IAP? And Sean will not respond because she didn't check her IAP. And then she further won't respond because when she's used IAP, the toe came back on the But you get my drift, right? You must incorporate that before you ask me any questions. Okay. You guys, is it up?
Yeah.
So this is the external oblique, yes? This is the rectus abdominis. So those two muscles are actually superficial when it comes to the abdominals. Now, do you see how many structures I had to take away there? Yeah. So many in the back, right?
Yeah, I'll do.
Is that better?
You're still taking away structures.
I'm still taking away structures so that you can see how deep we're going. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. This is how deep we're going, guys. Okay, great. So, you see here the internal oblique. Yeah? Now, can you see that where it's like very close to the pubic bone? Yeah. Yes? And see this line here? This white line? This is called the inguinal ligament. What? Inguinal ligament. Inguinal. Now, you can see that. Do you see how the lateral 2/3 of it is very close to the inguinal ligament and this part isn't?
Yeah.
The lateral 2/3 of internal oblique wraps around the inguinal ligament. Just remember that for a moment. Now, look how far back the internal oblique goes. Like that's like close to SI joint. Right? Now when I remove the internal oblique out of the way, you have transverse abdominis, which takes up even more space. And he goes also all the way back. You can see here that transverse abdominis attaches the lateral 1/3 around the inguinal ligament. So that means two things. Because two abdominal muscles are wrapped around the lateral 2/3 of the inguinal ligament, you transfer force from your core into your hip flexors via this ligament. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So when every single time you flex at the hip, force has to travel from your core via this ligament so that your hips will bend. Mm-hmm. Got that? Do you see that both abdominal muscles go all the way back to the other side of the ilium? Mm-hmm. So in yoga, when they say do an abdominal muscle supports your lower back, this is what they do. Right? Transverse abdominis, this abdominal muscle here that you see, is your Uddiyana muscle, your Kapalabhati muscle. Pulls the belly button towards the spine. It's the deepest one that does that. I mean, all of the abdominal muscles help to do that, but because it's the deepest one, that's the one that you'll be working the most. Are you still with me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Internal oblique, this guy here, helps you with crossing in abdominal, so elbow to knee. So can you see this morning how it was so I was using internal oblique and transverse abdominis to help you clean up your IAP. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Now, when you get to a certain level of your practice, what you will then do is only strengthen the weak side. Because that is where you will have less IAP. Still with me?
Yeah.
And when I I move these structures out of the way, what you then have is this sexy thing called the diaphragm. You can see that the diaphragm goes, as I said, around the entire of the inner rib cage, front, sides, and back. You can see that it touches the spine. You saw how many structures I had to move away from the back in order to get to multifidus limb. That's how deep we had to cut. Deep, right? What that means is, it's harder to feel the back of the diaphragm because there's so many structures sitting on your back. It's easiest to feel the diaphragm in the front ribs, which is why all yogis flare their ribs up when they inhale, reach their arms out. Do you guys know what I mean? Does anyone not know what I mean? This stuff, which is beautiful for preparation for back bend, but you lack posterior, when you lack activation of the back of the diaphragm. When this happens, when you don't breathe into the back of the diaphragm for a sufficient period of time, you lose something called posterior gut pressure. When you lack posterior gut pressure, the person will have returning symptoms within the shoulders and the neck. So when someone keeps on coming back saying, my neck and shoulders keep hurting, my neck and shoulders keep hurting, say to them, inhale, reach the arms up, I guarantee they'll do this. They're using their neck and shoulders instead of the back of the diaphragm. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, tell each other what I just said.